Welcome to Search for Signs. My name is Gary Willing. If this information interests you, please press the like and subscribe button and press the bell for notifications. As with a lot of things in life, that which is right in front of us is oftentimes the most difficult to see. And I'm not talking about how bad my eyesight's going, because over the years my eyes have gotten pretty bad. They used to be pretty good, but now they're pretty bad. But I'm also not referring to those qualities about ourselves that we hold dear, that we think are our greatest strengths, but other people, and especially the masters, would view it as our greatest weakness, right? But right now I'm going to refer to a couple symbols in the Bible, okay, that are kind of right there in your face if you read the Bible and you think they're talking about one thing when in actuality they're talking about something different. And the first one, I did a whole video about it, but 2 Corinthians, when Paul was writing the Corinthians, he said something about even Satan can disguise himself as an angel of light. And, when we all see the master who was Paul, right, you can ask him what he meant by that. I think what he meant by that was we need to watch our intentions and our motives and make sure that they're pure, especially when you think you're doing something good. Because oftentimes when we think we're doing something very selflessly, there's a selfish motive behind it. And he was speaking to people who didn't know anything about psychiatry or psychology, anything about the mind, about emotions. He was talking to people who were steeped in superstition. So he was using the language that they could understand. Now, when we all see the master who was Paul and you ask him, he might say, well, who said that? Who said that it was about motive and intention? It has nothing to do with that, right? And then you guys can all point to me and, I'll be the one in the hot seat, I guess, But I think under no circumstances was he talking about Maitreya being an Antichrist figure coming in the future. But the other one that I want to talk about is that Maitreya is referenced in the Bible a few times, but the one that people miss the most, that is a fairly common biblical verse. It's Luke 22:10, and it says, "When you enter into the city, a man will meet you carrying a pitcher of water. Follow him into the house that he enters." Now, this historically was said right before the disciples celebrated the Last Supper with Jesus. And I think in no way is Jesus saying this to his disciples because he's afraid they're going to get lost and they don't know where the house is, But, I think people miss the fact that this is in the Bible. They just kind of read over it and go to the next verse maybe. But this actually has a lot to do with Maitreya. It actually has everything to do with Maitreya, because Maitreya was the world teacher at the start of the Piscean age, which was when Jesus was around as Jesus as we all know him. And he worked through Jesus telepathically to get his message out. Now, you might say, well, that, astrology isn't in my Bible. What actually is all throughout the Bible. The symbol of the fish. I mean, how many references are there to the symbol of the fish in the New Testament? A lot, right? Well, the fish is the symbol for it's the age-old symbol for Pisces. I mean, it was around a lot longer than the Bible. Now, I don't know what our forefathers were smoking when they looked up at the sky and saw these groups of stars and made out fish or made out a water carrier or a lion or whatever, but that's the symbols that they used for millennia. And the references in the Bible about the fish are all about the fact that Jesus was the world teacher for the age of Pisces. Now, this particular verse, talking about the water carrier, follow the man carrying the pitcher of water, well, the age-old symbol for Aquarius is the water carrier. He was telling the disciples, who eventually told us, to follow the next world teacher eventually, which will be the same as this one, because it's never happened before. There's never been two consecutive ages where we had the same world teacher. This is the first time. So he was referring to the fact that Luke was referring to the fact that Maitreya will be the world teacher for this coming age. Now, I'm not saying you have to believe this or you're wrong or whatever. This is just looking at it from a different perspective to help hopefully open your mind up and my mind up to other symbols in the Bible that we think and we take as truth, but actually they're more symbols than actual, shouldn't be taken as literally as we think. But, and as always, take action. Help SOP save our planet. Thanks for listening, and we look forward to talking to you again in future videos. Have a great day.